All right, guys, we're on the third video diving into the corruption and complete manipulation and the planning of the fall of FTX. All right. And just so you guys know, if any of these videos get taken down, I am uploading them on Rumble, so you can follow me there. Or, if you didn't get to watch the whole thing, it'll be on Rumble. All right. So Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, involved in all of this corruption. And from the perspective of what I believe is this was all planned. And the reason I believe it was planned, I believe that the fall of FTX was planned. Not, some people get the wrong idea that, the plans were thwarted because FTX fell. CZ from Binance came in, saved the day. No. I think FTX was planned to bring up and taken down, the same way Luna was with their algorithmic stablecoin, to get a lot of people invested, to get everyone to lose their money, and therefore everyone hates algorithmic stablecoins, right? Watch my last video so you can understand what I'm talking about. The SEC, all right, has been, especially with Gary Gensler, has been under, a lot of fire from people. They want him to step down because of the corruption. And after doing some more research on Gary Gensler, you're going to see there's crazy. I didn't realize the magnitude of power this man has and his involvement in world affairs, money. This dude is right up there at the top with the elites, okay? But anyway, watch this video real quick. This is Ken Griffin, CEO of Citadel, all right, who's a corrupt man himself, all right? And he's trying to appear like the good guy. But I want you to see what they're trying to do. The message they're trying to get across to people is regulation only, not who are the big players who allowed this to happen? Because we're going to see that Gary Gensler was right in the muck, right in the mire of all this, and didn't stop it. But look what he says here.
The balance sheet of FTX is a line called Trump lose. And Sam was the second biggest donor to Democratic candidates.
He got that right.
I'm going to leave it to everybody else to draw their own conclusions about what you're saying here.
We're going to move past that. Look what he says here.
Those are really, really ugly facts when you see a fraud of this magnitude having played out, and you find no regulators were there to prevent it. That's a really, really tough story.
That was the end message of all that, was there were no regulators there to prevent it. Okay, now we're going to go to this article here, and then we'll do some history on Gary Gensler. But this is the meat of the bone here. Was SEC Chairman Gary Gensler helping Sam Bankman-Fried find legal loopholes for FTX? The answer is yes and yes. And there's too much involvement. People want to say this is an accident. No, Gary Gensler and Sam were meeting. We were having meetings all the way up until the crash. You're telling me that the head of the SEC, the top regulator in the space, was unaware and just completely fooled by this dumb 20-year-old that just was gambling money away. Okay, this is bigger. They would rather play dumb, okay, than get caught for fraud. And that's how you'll notice that a lot of these people, the cover up, right? Even apologies from people is, I'm the victim because I was stupid. Therefore, forgive me. This is the avenue that all of these people are going to play. I was stupid, I was dumb, I didn't realize what was going on, rather than get caught for fraud. Okay, now look at this. Okay, so the picture's cutting out a little bit here. I apologize for that. But you have Sam Bankman-Fried, who's the CEO of FTX. He's an MIT graduate, okay? Gary Gensler, head of SEC, right, the chair, former professor of MIT, all right? So they have connection there, but this gets better. Glenn Ellison, professor of economics, MIT, former boss of Gary Gensler. All right, so these guys know each other very well. All right, he was his former boss. And then his daughter, who is Caroline Ellison, CEO of Alameda, right, which, Sam Bankman, Caroline, these two are intertwined like that, dated Bankman-Fried and is the daughter of Glenn Ellison. Now look at that connection there. And the fact that Gary Gensler was meeting with Sam on a regular basis, okay, and let's put some more pieces of this puzzle together. Do me a favor, guys, comment down below. Help me piece this more together. I'm just getting into all this research. Like the video, subscribe. That way it does better in the algorithm. And I'll link these articles here, but the speculation is that Gary Gensler needs to answer for the fact that he may have been providing legal loopholes to the exchange that could be taken advantage of. All right, now look at this here. The reason why that is not far-fetched, okay, is if we look here, in this article, there's a 16,000 signature document that is asking Gary Gensler to resign, and I'll link this document as well. But in addition, okay, because Gary Gensler has been attacking crypto since the time he became head of the SEC. That's been his goal, all right, and everything going on with Ripple, right? But in addition, Gensler asked crypto exchanges, okay, so that would include FTX, to agree with him by asserting that he would collaborate with crypto exchanges to safeguard investors better. Now, this has been for a while now. And at the same time, the chairman has persistently refused to communicate with XRP investors, United States Congress, and other financial authorities. The whole thing behind Gensler with these exchanges, which is supposed to buy them time, which is supposed to make people more comfortable, was that Gensler was going to partner with them and be in collaboration with them to make sure that investors are safe. Okay? Now, notice what Kevin O'Leary says here. All right, piecing this all together. Kevin O'Leary was supposedly and allegedly approached by FTX and other shareholders that wanted to have his money to help bail them out, right during the liquidity crisis. Okay, and he blames Gary Gensler as the reason why he didn't end up putting any money in it. And notice what it is here. Let's see here. At the time, FTX was looking for $8 billion. That's the kind of money that an institution or sovereign wealth fund can put to work if they thought there was an interesting opportunity. But by then, Gensler, okay, so this is the reason Kevin O'Leary, just in the last week, said the crypto industry was significantly non-compliant and in need of more regulation. Okay, the whole goal of this was regulation. We talked about the Great Reset. We talked about how they plan to monopolize and get rid of key players, hurt the retail investor, to fear innovation, because crypto is the last Wild West, or at least that we can tell. We can't really see any other future right now. The minute that occurred, that was the end of any sovereign wealth fund's interest. I got out myself is what he's saying. All right. So the fact that Gary Gensler, right, who was supposedly helping FTX, right, and meeting with Sam and all this stuff, now all of a sudden his warning to everyone is they're non-compliant. Stay out of it. Right? He helped FTX only to let it fall. And they're saying, and you got the guy from Citadel saying, hey, there was no regulators to be able to stop this. Are you kidding me? Gary was there the whole time, okay? His connections intertwined with everything. Now, interesting, some backup. We'll back up here and look at some history about Gary Gensler, okay? His business career, okay, let's jump into that. He joined Goldman Sachs back in 1979, which is one of the largest banks in the world, right? Member of the World Economic Forum, okay? This is all connected and intertwined, okay? And it's not just coincidence, all right? Goldman Sachs on the WF members and partners website. At 30 years old, Gensler became one of the youngest persons to have made a partner at the firm at the time. You realize that Goldman Sachs only has around 60 members right now. They used to have 80, and if you look at this article here, it drops every year, but they usually have around 50 to 60 partners. And I don't know how many it was back when Gensler was a part of it, but never really more than 100. They made upwards of $4 to $5 million a year becoming a partner. They are involved in a lot. All right, partner's a big deal, and Gary Gensler was the youngest. That's significant. Okay, youngest partner of Goldman Sachs. All right. He spent the 1980s working as a top mergers and acquisitions banker. This guy ain't stupid, okay? Having assumed responsibility for Goldman's efforts in advising media companies, which, if you were involved, anyone involved in that space during that time made a lot of money. He subsequently made the transition to trading and finance in Tokyo, where he directed the firm's fixed income and currency trading. Okay, while at Goldman Sachs, Gensler led a team that advised the NFL in capturing the most lucrative deal in television history when the NFL secured a $3.6 billion deal selling television sports rights. Gensler's last role at Goldman Sachs was co-head of finance, responsible for controllers and treasury worldwide. This dude had his fingers in everything. All right, this guy was a big shot. All right, part of the WEF, all right, the World Economic Forum. He's up there with the elites, right? He's a partner of one of the largest banks in the world, one of the oldest banks in the world. And then notice, after 18 years, when he was nominated by none other than President Bill Clinton. You can't make this stuff up. All right, Bill Clinton, and confirmed by the U.S. Senate. So his first introduction to politics and becoming part of the U.S. Treasury and all that under Bill Clinton, one of the most controversial fraudsters in, anyway, I don't want to get Clintoned. So if you go on, you can read more about him, and I'll link all this stuff for you guys to look at. But if we continue in this article here, in 2020 article, Mind the Gap was described as a secretive Stanford-connected Democratic fundraising group that funneled more than $20 million to Democrat candidates. Meanwhile, Bankman-Fried's father, okay, so this is Sam, his father was a Stanford lawyer professor who also has close ties to leading politicians. He has in the past drafted tax legislation for Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat well known for opposition to crypto and crypto mining in particular. Okay, and if you're telling me that none of this was planned, it was all an accident, I think your head is in the clouds. I just do. SEC Chair Gary Gensler also has ties to the Democratic Party. Well, obviously, and previously served as the finance chair for the Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, which was a scam campaign as well, doing illegal things and whatnot. But he was a part of it all. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, closely tied. Anyone closely tied to those people, I want nothing to do with, right? It's not a stretch to imagine Sam is sought to exploit these political ties to his benefit. Obviously, it's a good time for skeptics to ask why Gensler failed to stop FTX in the first place, and if anyone else in high places had a role in enabling this debacle. Well, I would agree that it was all planned, okay? And you got the dude from Citadel, one of the most corrupt people in the world, saying, there was no one there, no regulators in place, no one to stop it. Gaslighting. Lastly, and perhaps not surprisingly, speculations on the ties between Bankman-Fried and prominent government figures is also running rampant in the community. FTX was used to launder money for the Democratic Party. Question worth asking. It is. It really is. So, guys, how deep does the corruption go? Obviously, there's more to cover, and I don't want to keep this video too long. So let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments, and make sure you like and subscribe. Like I said, if this video gets taken off, it'll be on Rumble. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one.